Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donny Corum. This lovely lady to my right is none other than Gabrielle Simmons, but I want to introduce her. Not that she needs an introduction, but I'll let you guys know, one of the greatest wholesalers regionally available. We work here in Colorado Springs, Colorado together, but she has been killing it in the national wholesale scene. I am so excited to have Gabrielle Simmons on the show. Make some noise out there for Miss Gabrielle Simmons. What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? Hi. I'm happy to be here.
So
Thanks
happy
for having me.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. So Gabrielle goes by Trucker Lady G online. She transitioned from trucking to wholesale and has been crushing it in the wholesale space. We did so many deals last year. I lost count, but just a little background. How'd you get started in this game? Tell me a little more about yourself. Give the viewers what they want.
Yeah. So I'm not Trucker Lady G anymore.
You did tell me that. I'm sorry.
I did change that, which was hard to do because I was a trucker and that was like such a big part of my life. But ultimately, that's what helped me get into real estate. So I am Investor Lady G.
Investor Lady G. Pay attention, y'all.
All my hashtags.
We'll get that all in the show notes, so they'll see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So you know me, I do deals all over Colorado, mostly wholesale deals, but I also have my own personal investments.
Yeah.
And together we did lots of deals last year.
Let's talk about that, because I remember when you were still Trucker Lady G, and I remember when we first met and you were on the road as an over-the-road trucker, a trucking company, by the way, that you started at what, 23?
Yeah, 24, I think is when I started the company.
So starts a company, buys a truck. This little person here is out cruising the country in a big rig, carrying, probably explosives or other really dangerous stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. I was kidding, but that frightens the hell out of me. So you're on the road. You decide you don't want to do this over-the-road trucking thing anymore. It's not for you, and you decide you're going to go into investing. What was your big first step into making that transition? How did you make the move from Trucker Lady G to Investor Lady G?
By educating myself, listening to podcasts like this one, just podcasts of people who are doing what I want to do, telling their story of how they got started.
Sure.
Podcasts and books,
audiobooks.
Yep.
I mean, you're on the road for what, 10, 12 hours a day at this point, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of time to listen to podcasts, videos, and audiobooks.
Yeah, I love it.
And so I kind of just learned about wholesaling because wholesaling is the easiest way to get started in real estate without having to use a bunch of capital, if you have any, to begin with.
Sure.
And it's super simple. It's a transactional business. It's unlike flipping, right? Where flipping,
super involved.
You're super involved through the entire process. It's very hands-on.
Yep.
I mean, you figured out how to make it less hands-on.
Yeah. But that takes time to build that. When you're getting started out, you gotta, I mean, you're hands-on all day long. Whereas with wholesale, you were buying deals, assigning them to yours truly, right? Because you're finding incredible spreads, great deals. You're making what I consider to be the smaller money on just transfer the money over to the cash buyer investor. But in that era, and those last 2 years, that was not necessarily the case, right? There were times where the spreads were so amazing that you were making this huge wide spread on the wholesale side. And I was happy to pay that because the deals were just that good.
Right. Yeah. Wholesaling in the last year, wholesaling was huge. It was taking off. Deals, you could get 20, 30, 40 grand on an assignment fee. Right. And it would still make sense for you, the end buyer, the investor, to still be able to renovate it and make your profit too.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's, we built this great relationship over the past 2 years doing that, guys. And one of the things that, we've been talking about is how it's so important to connect yourself with a cash investor who's doing a lot of deals, because you are not looking for other investors. Our relationship was such that you brought pretty much every deal you had directly to me, right?
Yep. All of them. And then also and this is what I teach my students is, if you want to get into wholesaling and do it on a higher scale, what we did is you pay for all of my marketing. Right. And my job is just to convert deals, just to convert leads.
Yes.
And that way I didn't have to pay. I don't pay for any marketing.
Yep.
and you're getting first right of refusal on amazing deals.
Absolutely.
And you're not having to do any of the work to find them.
And a lot of people thought that was crazy. Like they're paying for Gabrielle's marketing. Go, listen, she's proven. She's out there doing the hard work, no doubt hard work of dealing with motivated sellers, especially in a market that was red hot during that time, right? And bringing in deals so I don't have to source deals, so I can focus on my best thing, which was getting the construction done, getting all the things set up so we could flip those properties at a massive profit. Well, that was the past. That's when things were amazing and things were going well. How's the market treating you now, G?
Like dog shit.
Like dog shit.
Like I'm personally being treated like dog shit. It's horrible. And
I shouldn't be making fun because it's also treated me like dog shit, just for the record. So whether you are a cash buyer investor or a wholesaler, right now the market's treating both of us kind of the same. And the best description really does sum up dog shit. Dog shit. Right? So what's different? How are you navigating? What are you doing for money? Well, don't tell me specifically what you're doing for money because it might. OnlyFans. I know what I'm doing for money.
I would make too much money doing that.
Oh my God.
I'm excited that
that's unfair.
The rest can be amazing and
and have like this massive OnlyFans. I'd watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be frank with you today.
It wouldn't be what you want to see. It'd be like the weirdest shit ever.
The pickles? Why are we incorporating pickles into an OnlyFans? What is going on?
I love to eat pickles and drink the juice. It's really weird.
Viewership. Man, that was a tangent. Let's get back on track here. So we are now re-navigating through a new market as a wholesaler, as a cash investor. What are you doing? I heard you mention you're doing coaching, and I know you guys need to check out. If you're trying to get into the wholesaling game, there is none finer than Investor Lady G as far as getting education, as far as that piece go. I would not have, I brought her on the show because I really want you guys to want to do that connect. Obviously on the flipping side, it's a different model. It's a different thing that we do on my side of the house. But the reality is our combination really was the secret sauce to our success. So what are you doing now to promote the wholesaling side? How are you getting things moving?
First, I have to say thank you for all that you've taught me in the last 3 years. I mean,
thank you.
Especially the first year, I'm sure I was annoying as hell. I'm a little less annoying. Well, maybe I'm more annoying now because
it depends if we're partying or not. Yeah, when we're partying, you're actually way more annoying than you were back because I think you were holding back.
Yeah,
when we were first hanging out.
Being nice.
Yeah, and now there's none of that. Like you never spend any time trying to be nice, which I appreciate. I'm concerned about,
especially the first year, because all I did was bother you all the time with questions. Yes. And you taught me so much about subject to and seller financing and ways to get creative.
Thank you.
And ways to borrow money and to fund deals and just so many things that I am so far ahead of most people.
I'm holding back tears here.
Who have been in this business. I've only been in this business for 3 years, but I know so much thanks to you. So
that means a lot. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that. And it was my pleasure. And I'll tell you, it wasn't just because you were making me a stupid amount of money, though I'm not going to lie to you. That helped. But also because you were so eager. I think a lot of what I love about students who come to me as coaching students is I need to know from my students that they're out looking to get information on their own. I'm happy to help, and I want to be a mentor and a guide to my coaching students. But the fact that you were out there really looking for your own info and promoting your own career, that's why it was an honor, to be honest with you, to work with you in that capacity. And what we get to do from here is going to be lots of fun.
Yeah.
Right. And we got some cool announcements coming up about combining this wholesale training with the retail training of the foreclosure side. But today, how would you describe the wholesale spreads? Would you say that wholesalers should be taking a little less per deal? Are you okay with that now that you're taking a little less per deal?
Yeah, I think wholesalers are having to change just as much as the market has changed.
Yes.
In that we're having to take smaller assignment fees to get the deal done.
Right.
Because the spread is just not quite there. Last year we could wholesale you a bad deal and you would still make good money.
Right.
Because the market was so overinflated.
Absolutely.
The ARV that we thought you were buying it for, the after repair value, for those of you who don't know ARV.
Thanks for clarifying.
The ARV that you thought you were going to list the home for after it was fixed up was usually less than what you actually ended up selling it for by a large number, right? Because the market was so overinflated. Whereas today it's actually the opposite.
Right.
So end buyers, flippers are like, if I don't have a huge spread, I'm not buying it.
Right.
So wholesalers were having to come and bring our assignment fees down significantly.
Yeah. And that's what you're teaching your students right now. And that's not a bad thing, because I think the reality is there's going to be more deals on the market overall, right? We're not there yet, because you said something earlier that sellers are still being super unrealistic, right? They've not adapted to the fact that the market's not what it was, but that reality is going to set in.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And when it does.
And when it does, baby, ooh-wee. In the meantime, OnlyFans is looking really promising. So check out OnlyFans/Donny Corum. But I should now. I'm gonna have like a toe fetish.
Oh no,
my toes are hot. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Like, listen, if you guys are wondering what my toes look like, I'm gonna get you a full camera angle later. But I don't have to take this from you. I don't know. Like, this is my show. Like there's certain things. Anyway, all right, let's get back on that. So wholesalers are taking less. Cash buyers, investors, they are having to look for higher margins, but they're not necessarily going to keep that margin, because we don't know ultimately where the market's going to land, right? So is not part of the issue that we can't really predict the future of pricing, and how are you adapting to that? Or what comps are you using as opposed to the comps you were using before?
Yeah. So that's a great question, because before we were able to use comps.
Comparable sales.
Yep, comparable sales from the last year.
Right.
Then the market started to get a little different. So we narrowed it down where we were only looking at comparable sales for the last 6 months. Now we're only looking at comparable sales within the last like 3 months or less.
Right.
Because that's how drastic the market has changed. What the retail prices were for homes 6 months ago is nowhere near what they are today.
Correct. Yeah.
And just in the last few months.
Right. And we're adjusting to that on both sides. And the problem is, as long as sellers are unrealistic on the acquisition side, right, we're struggling to get through that. And then you got to add the fact that the flipper, my role in this, is not 100% certain of what the actual retail price is going to be, and we're ready to sell the damn thing.
Right. So you guys are coming in much more conservatively.
We have to at this point, right? And that's created some interesting rifts between you and I. It's like, she's got a wicked right hook, just for the record. Mm-hmm. Yeah, duck, stick and move, right? Because in the end, like we've had some debates where we've disagreed on what the retail price is, not because her data's wrong, just because we're looking at it from two different perspectives, and we've had to change the comps. We've had to change the time frame of the comp to adapt for that. And that's meant that a lot of deals that would have been super viable or awesome not 3 months ago are like, can't do it.
Yep.
Right. So that's led to a new model, which is actually beneficial, because now we're taking all this knowledge you've obtained over the past 3+ years, and you're now offering it to your clients out into the world and saying, this is what I learned during this time. And when things are better, we're going to be able to apply that knowledge to a grander market. It's actually be better in the future than it was. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And, something that I've learned from you and been able to focus more on is the creative finance strategies.
Yes. Okay.
For acquisition,
like subject to lease option, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
And seller financing. So that becomes super attractive to everyone, to flippers and wholesalers who want to start building their own portfolio.
Absolutely.
Because we can get into a property and control it with less money, out of pocket to do so. Right. So focusing on that, I'm just waiting for this tidal wave that's coming. Man.
It's coming. It's coming. There's a whole foreclosure market that's coming. And a foreclosure market, people are like, well, why do you just teach on foreclosures? No, I use foreclosures as my hook. Right? Because foreclosures, where people respect foreclosures as being deals. Now, there haven't been a ton of foreclosures, but when I'm talking to foreclosures, I'm talking about deals in general, be they subject to, be they lease option. Foreclosures is just kind of what we're all aware of as being a deal, but there's going to be opportunities all over the marketplace. Foreclosures are just going to be included in that mix for the first time in the better part of 5-6 years. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. We are, I don't want to, we still have a lot to work here, guys. But we are working on a thing where the wholesaling group is going to combine with the flipping group, and how to dedicate people to one cash buyer investor. Right. Can you allude to that without giving away too much of what that's going to entail or how that partnership's going to work?
So just imagine you're a new wholesaler Okay. We're going to go down this journey together. You're a new wholesaler.
All right. Some of those people who knows nothing about nothing. I can do that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I know. Wholesalers, baby. I'm telling you.
I know a lot about a lot. Okay. Before I started wholesaling.
Well, that's fair.
So you're a wholesaler, and I would say more than you in some
Okay.
places.
All right. Let's keep moving.
Yeah,
keep moving. You're a new wholesaler. Move on.
And you don't have a lot of money to spend on marketing.
Right.
You don't know a whole lot either about real estate investing or flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So what better way to learn than not only hiring a coach to teach you, but also having a coach who is in the flipping business and who is going to partner with you to keep your costs low as far as your marketing goes and give you real life training on that side of the business, which is the flipping, the investor side of the business.
Yes.
So I'm just going to leave it at that. Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, that's right. We don't want to fill it because it's gonna be a tidal wave of people are gonna want this, by the way. But the idea behind it is taking people who are just trying to get started with wholesaling and connecting them with people who are in my coaching program to do flipping and exactly what you said, and cover the marketing and work within that area so they can be a consistent source of deals for the wholesaler and for the flipper, and building the wonderful relationship that you and I have gotten the opportunity to form. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with you to develop that. I love what you're doing for your students. The community that you're creating is going to be awesome when combined with the community that I'm creating on a national scale.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm super excited about that.
My students ask me all the time, like, how did you meet Donny? Like, it does sound like that marriage that we never asked for, that we never wanted, but people,
I don't.
how have you been together for so long?
I saw her across the wholesaling bar and I just knew it was wholesale at first sight.
Totally took advantage of me and you be wholesaler.
Other way around, really.
I took advantage of the pockets. I'm like, oh, wait, excuse me, what? You'll buy all of my deals?
Like everything?
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
It made it easier though, right? Because I didn't have to worry about you. Here's the problem with wholesalers, right? And not you, but your community outside of you. There's a sliminess that developed because there's a lot of bad people in the industry, right? And so now investors are on guard against wholesalers.
I have to throw that out there.
That's fair, right? Because you were dealing with somebody who was less than good in the industry at the time, right?
Very poor integrity.
Right. And so you were trying to work through that. And so you meet somebody who's got a lot of integrity, combine that with somebody who's got a lot of integrity, magic happened. We grew this into something I did 47 flips last year, and I have to largely credit you for that, because there's just no way. I was finding deals on market, which is a strategy that I teach my clients as an on-market strategy, because it requires less marketing, because it requires a little less effort, but you were bringing in much better deals and you were bringing them in much higher consistency, right? Which allowed me to build systems around that, right? So when you were able to play at your top game, because you weren't focused on trying to find the catch buyer to buy the property at, right? And I was focused on my top game, which was getting those properties dispositioned and resold. We were able to elevate super fast. Oh yeah. Right. And so we want to create partnerships like this nationally. Yes. Right. Where you're training the wholesale side and I'm training the flipping side. Yeah. Right. And this is going to be my elite coaching package. It's going to combine you with your wholesaler. It's going to combine you with your project manager, to put all those parts together. And it's so early that I don't want to tell you, we're probably a good 6 to 12 months before launch on this, but I do believe that it's going to change the game of investing, because you got a bunch of people, a bunch of gurus out there teaching wholesale. You can go online and get hours and hours of content on wholesale. I'm not knocking it. It's great data. You got a bunch of guys out there teaching flipping, kind of. Like, the stuff that's out there about flipping is a little terrifying, to be perfectly frank with you. It's just, I read it, like, I wouldn't do that, because the flipping shows made that scary. You got Chip and Joanna, and I love y'all. If you're watching, please don't get offended. I know you're the king and queen. Please don't kill me. But they're showing the gold-plated faucets and helicopter landing pads. That is my industry if you're not properly trained, right? So a lot of misinformation out there. If we combine 2 accurate sources of information, I'm excited about what we can do from this point forward. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Yeah. I have to touch on that a little bit too, because in working with you so closely, I learned so much about like flipping and things too. So I have my own investment properties. I have rentals, and my first flip, quote unquote flip, which I am not a flipper. I don't want to be a flipper. Right. Wasn't your thing. I see that it causes you a headache so much that like I lost my hair. Yeah. So I'm over it. It's super profitable, and it can be really great. You can create a big team through flipping. Yes. But I myself am a little bit more simple person. So
in doing my first quote unquote flip, it was more of a BRRRR, you know, the BRRRR method.
Right. You're going to rehab it, refinance it to go into a rental.
Yeah. All I kept hearing was your annoying but great voice telling me, don't over renovate.
Thank you.
Not over
Thank
renovate.
you.
And I cannot tell you how valuable that is, because then I had my husband's voice in the other ear.
I want to do this.
Saying,
I want to do this.
And I want this. I want that.
I want to do this. No.
This is gonna
Donny said no.
Yeah. Like right. I can hear you're like this omniscient, like God voice telling me.
It's okay, my child. I'm with you now.
Do not over renovate, Gabrielle.
I love that. I'm glad you took the advice, because, you know, at your very tender age, a lot of people get started in this and they over renovate, they make all the mistakes, and they end up leaving the game much before they should, because they make those mistakes up front. I mean, obviously you're a coach as well, but talk to me about the value of coaching, both in what you got when we were working together and what you think you provide to your students, because I think they need to hear that, and how it's beneficial to work with somebody who's just been there.
I think, you know, I started out as the solopreneur. I was very much the kind of person that was like, I'm going to do this and learn this on my own. I don't need or want anybody else. And I still have that attitude deep down inside that I've
never noticed that about you. It's so weird.
But in working with you, I learned that, like, holy crap, I can tap in. There's only so much knowledge I can gain on my own, right?
That's right.
And actually, I can gain all of it on my own.
That's right.
But how long is that going to take?
It takes more time.
Right.
It takes more time.
So at the age of 25, when I'm getting into real estate, I don't want to spend the next 25 years
figuring it out,
learning all of it, right? And going through trial and error. So being able to tap into your brain and learn all the things that you've learned through your trial and error, through experience, through the people who coached you.
Yes.
Like, that is a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
That was passed on to me in a short amount of time, that I get the pleasure of passing on to my students who come to learn about wholesaling and end up learning about so much more, because I tapped into so much more.
And I'll tell you, when you get a huge, and thank you for that. That was beautiful. But when you get a call to coaching, it's because you had a good coach. And I have to say that, you know, my coach, my mentor 15 years ago really got, man, not only can I learn this much faster by listening to this dude, but I feel like I can pass this on at a much higher rate. So when you coach with somebody at an excellent level, you're going to feel that desire to translate that knowledge to other people. When you try to self-source it, you want to hoard it. You want to keep that data to yourself. It becomes competitive, right? It's like, I don't want to share this because it took me forever to learn it, and I don't want to give it out to the rest of the world. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm so glad you got that call to coaching, because you have the personality, you've got the teaching skills. You're not always the most friendly, but that could just be me. And I've had to meet you. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually, because people tend to like you. I don't know why they don't. You know, they don't seem to. Anyway, it's my ego in the way.
Get called to coaching, like, really, and like not internally, at least. Okay, it was literally like the world, like
it came to you.
Was like, please coach me,
teach me this,
help me, and I was just like, I don't want to. I really didn't want to.
Well, I resisted it for years too, and after a while, you're asked so many times to teach your knowledge, you start doing it for free.
For free,
you start hooking people up. It's the homie hook guy, right? And then you realize that's hell. So I mean, I love you guys, and I want to help out, but like, why do you charge for the coaching? Because everybody we asked to compensate us for our time tends to do more with that information than the people you give it to for free for. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And I hate saying that phrase alone, that you were right.
I know it's hard, but it happens so often. Like, have you noticed in our relationship, there's at least 30 occasions where I've said, I think this is where we're going to end up. And you're like, oh, you were right.
3 times.
All right, listen. I'm so excited about what's coming up with this combination. I don't know what we're calling this yet, but I do know this is going to be life-changing and game-changing for a lot of people. I want you to do this. I need you to go follow Investor Lady G on Instagram. You've got to get hip to the knowledge that she's sending out there right now. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and as the wholesale market is changing, you're going to see a lot of the quote-unquote gurus dropping off the map, whereas you're ramping up. Right? You're putting more content out there. You're offering more data to your people. This is a good time to be following Gabrielle Simmons. Would you do me a huge favor? I know a lot of people want to meet you in person, and some guys want to meet you for other reasons, but like, if you could, like, we're doing a meetup, and some girls want to meet you.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, see, that's so weird. It's so weird. We do our meetup every week down here in downtown Colorado Springs at the Bell Brothers Brewing for right now. I would love if you would come out and just meet some people and just kind of share your knowledge and also how wonderful I am. Like I think we could spend more time on just how amazing. Ooh, got really quiet.
Crickets.
I actually have a cricket sound effect. I just don't know which one it is.
I tell people how amazing you are all the time because you really are.
I'm being facetious to some degree, but it would be awesome for people to meet what I consider to be one of my great proteges in the industry, somebody who really took the knowledge that I felt like I had to offer, ran with it, created an incredible industry, an awesome net worth, and a following. All of it, not just with my knowledge, but with the knowledge that you obtained yourself. I think it would be awesome if we could continue this journey together and do some fun stuff as business partners. I really love what we're doing here.
Yeah, we definitely will. I will be there.
All right.
I will be there.
We will announce to the meetup group what day Gabrielle will be joining us as often as possible. We're going to do one official launch with Gabrielle there. Don't miss that. Keep your eyes out there. If you haven't already, go join the Foreclosure Deals Coach Facebook group. That link is going to be posted to this as it is on every one of these videos. And guys, the tides are turning. The market is changing. Gabrielle's living proof that if you get educated and you love this business, don't get into this just for the money. The money is cool.
Right.
Don't get it twisted, all right? But there's more to that. There's relationships. There's knowledge. There's all these things that you can get if you really take this seriously. I am so excited to have met you along this journey, and I am super excited about what we can do from here and the lives we can change through the coaching programs that we're both putting together. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. No, I just thank you so much for having me. I always love being on your show. I love talking to you, even though you drive me crazy, but
got a gift.
I still till this day, this is something that I really hold dear to my heart is that I can have a conversation with you and I'm always learning something.
Yes. Back at you.
Always.
I feel the same way. That's the benefit of this network that we're creating.
Yeah.
We're putting like the information you provide now. The student has become the teacher in a lot of ways. And I am honored to see you continue your journey. Find Investor Lady G on Instagram. Go to Gabrielle-Simmons.com to check out her coursework and all that stuff. We're going to post all that in the show notes. With that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Donny Corum, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, thanking you for tuning in each and every single week to the podcast and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.